Today is the 21st of June, 2020. This is Mr. Abundance saying greetings to all the fathers in the house and those who will watch this at a later date. You are welcome. Today is going to be a little heavy with information. Knowing that there are two mindsets that are presently working. You have the visionary, pace setter, go-getter mindset. These are people that do not wait for things to happen. These are people that make things happen. But these are very few in numbers. We call them the Abraham's faith. These are people that you don't have to say anything to them, and they understood everything that was said without saying anything. And you also have on the other side another mindset. You will be in front of them for an hour speaking, and they walk away understanding absolutely nothing. How can this be? But it is the reality. It is the reality. And so we have the wealthy mindset, the progressive mindset. I mean, these are people that is willing to take risk with the understanding that failure or losing is a part of the process of winning. Hence, these people are early adopters, taking advantage of new opportunities before others realize its potential. Those who will have more than they need are those who will take risk, knowing that winning is a part of losing, but they're early adopters. On the other hand, you have the general public. Avoid risk because of the fear of failure or loss. They wait to see what everyone else is doing. Then they do the same, by which time it's too late to capitalize on new opportunities. Now, and this is the general population indeed. This is the 95%. They want you to clear the bush, cut it down, and you must remove the stumps from the ground. Not only must you cut the branches and the stem and uproot the tree. After you would have done that, I'm talking about the general population who avoid taking risk, who always wait for everybody else to go so that they know it is a safe path. And so not only would you have to do all that, but you also have to remove the stones out of the road so they can see it is safe. And not only do you have to remove the stone, but you also have to bring in a roller to roll it so it can be smooth. And after you would have done that, it's still not enough for them to walk, to see that prosperity is ahead. You still have to come with the asphalt and to put it on the road with the gravels and then roll it. At that time, it will be too late for them to capitalize or to take advantage of any opportunity. And so with this note, We are in the year 2020. 2020. 11 years since the first cryptocurrency was introduced. 11 years. This is not a new phenomena. And you have people today, people with PhD, with master's degree, with bachelor's degree. I'm talking about diploma students. After 11 years, a coin came on board and created millionaires and billionaires. And you still have poor people that are saying, it's the mark of the beast. The greatest barrier to us as a people for success is a conditioned mindset. And so I had no intention, because my deck is full today, but I still have to bring back Eric Finman. And so here is what we will consider in the Caribbean a dunce. A dunce at the age of 12 invested $1,000 into an unknown coin. I said 9 years ago, not today, 9 years ago, when everybody was calling this thing a fake and a scam. Not today, because I will show you how many countries have now legalized it. I'm talking about 9 years ago, when everybody was calling it fake. Even the president of JP Morgan Chase. And within that noise, within that dust, within all that smoke and cloud, you have a dunce at the age of 12 that the teacher suggested to him to drop out of school. But he had enough common sense to invest in cryptocurrency, because he understood that this was not normal. It was not normal. 10 years later, you still have intelligent people behaving like dunce. Behaving like dunce. For heaven's sake, if you don't know something, go and do your research before you speak. It is the script that says, even when a fool hold its peace is counted wise. And so let me show you what a 15-year-old who is not old enough to hire anyone hired 20 persons working for him full time. You need to tell me, where is the mark of the beast on this 12-year-old? You tell me. And so, let me share my screen. He wasn't a part of my show today, I can assure you. But I was inspired, because you have some of us still don't know who we are. And so listen to a dunce hiring his teachers. The teachers who told him he was not educationally inclined, but he is hiring them now to work for him. This is what dunce are going to do for a lot of us who have degrees. A lot of us who have degrees, who want to understand everything. Living from hand to mouth and scarce to want. That is our portion. Talk about poverty, hardship. That is what we know. Talk about begging politicians, looking for duty free, looking to be bribed at every election. That is what we know. Put up a job vacancy. One And you will have today in my country, over 10,000 people will apply. But put up a business opportunity, not one will raise their hand. Not one will raise their hand. And you expect to change your situation by doing the same thing. Welcome to a dunce who is a multimillionaire based on common sense investment.
He's only 21 when he helped create Apple, the newest star of the tech world. Won't reach that age for another 6 years, but Michelle Miller shows us how he is already seeing his dreams pay off.
Do people ever call you smarty pants? No. Maybe they should. Eric Finman is the founder of Untitled, an online education program that links students with instructors around the world. A pretty remarkable accomplishment considering he's only 15 years old.
So you can see all the best teachers. Oh, there I am.
That's even younger than his mentor, Alexis Ohanian, was when he started the online community Reddit, at the ripe old age of 22.
I'm shocked by Eric's success at this age compared to where I was.
Ohanian inspired a generation of smart, tech-savvy teens with his book, Without Their Permission, How the 21st Century Will Be Made, Not Managed. Eric read it, then took a $1,000 check his grandmother had given him at Easter and invested it in the online currency Bitcoin.
I just thought it was just such an amazing tool. It's going to be really big.
You hit the jackpot.
I hit the jackpot.
A jackpot worth $100,000. Eric was hooked. His next venture was inspired by feeling stuck in school in northern Idaho, where he couldn't find enough interesting subjects to satisfy his curious mind.
Choose to register as a student or learn something, or become an expert and teach something.
His solution: give users a place to chat with instructors and learn about any subject, from Spanish and algebra to robotics and the violin.
I wanted it so any person like me who doesn't have the same opportunities as someone living in a really nice school district can go on my site and learn anything they want.
He launched the company in May and now has more than 1,700 users. He employs 20 people full-time. He called them freelancers.
Freelancers. No, I'm not legally allowed to call people.
Why?
15-year-olds aren't allowed to hire employees.
But they are allowed to be hired as interns, which is what he's doing this summer at a startup called Sprayable Energy. Where he hopes to be next is working for himself, either in Silicon Valley or New York City. The one place Eric doesn't want to go again is school. You have to deal with your parents.
I do. They said if I make
a 15-year-old that has hired 20 people full-time without a high school degree within the fourth industrial revolution of things. This is what cryptocurrency can do for us. It's not a job. It's not a 9 to 5. And because it's not a 9 to 5, it will not appeal to many people. And so let me share with you what a little history, and I'm going to speed up a little bit because I know I am behind. I am behind, but I need to share with you what this unknown currency that gave birth in 2009, the past 11 years. And so in 2010, this coin, unknown to the world, worth only 0.003 of a cent. Had you or I bought $15 in 2010, you or I would have gotten 5,000 coins, Bitcoin. And so it only worth $15 in 2010. Move forward in 2014. This same coin, $15 investment, move from 0.003 for one coin to $750, meaning your $15 investment now move from $15 in 2010 to $3,750,000 by 2014. 4 years later. $15. You tell me what business could you have entered? In 2017, that $15 investment now appreciate with the coin at 20,000 US, because that was what Bitcoin went up to in 2017, an unknown coin without leadership, without a structure, without any management, without any social programs, without television or radio. And here is at 20,000. And so if you and I had bought and had that 5,000 coins, by 2017, we will be looking at an appreciated value of $100 million. You tell me which model in business now, because you can't work for it. So I am not even talking about where could you have worked, because no one working would have received this money, not even the president of JP Morgan Chase. We're talking about a $15 by 2017. 6 years later, it accumulate or appreciate to $100 million. In 2018, it went down to 29.7 million. Today, well, I didn't check for today, but the last time I checked, it was at 9,400. And so had you had those coins, $15 worth now, this is what you would have had, 47 million with a $15 investment. And so you tell me, and then you will leave from here with all this information and listen to nonsense on the street. Listen to persons who have no knowledge of cryptocurrency. And so tax forecast by 2025, and I said a matter of fact, keep in mind that the forecast shows in 2025 TACC should be at 9,000. TACC could also be at 18,000. TACC could also be at 20,000, because we are not even creating that path. It has already gone before. And so what we have is unique because we have everything that is missing in Bitcoin to have it at 20,000 by 2025. And so consider 9,000 if we remain and become specifics, because it will not happen overnight. And so here you have, and let me share my screen again, TACC being forecast. And so we're saying We started this journey November the 4th, 2019. At that time, persons who invested 5,000 and above got their coins for less than 2 cents. That's right, less than 2 cents. Today, the coin is now at 50 cents. Does that say anything to you? And so, in other words, the more you invested is the lesser the coins, the price of the coins in the private sale. And so we have persons who have more than 200,000 coins in their wallet as I am speaking to you. I issued all of them, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. And so take an example of someone who would have invested 500 in the private sale. That person would have received 4,500 coins. I want you to follow me very clearly. So in 2019, up until March 30th of this year, those coins were at 500. We are now in 2020, just about 6 months, 7 months. The coin now moves to 50 cents. And we are working, being meaningful specifics, to move this coin on the platform where it now moves from just being a coin to money in your wallet. And that is why that is what we're now doing, certifying the coins by raising the soft cap of 2.5 million. And so you having bought 500 worth at price at 11 cents. When this coin goes public at $1, your 4,500 coins will now have an appreciated value of 4,500. Now you tell me, the bank that you could put 500 US in, and in less than 9 months appreciate to 4,005. We now move forward with our prediction in 2021, be meaningful. We should be able to push this coin to 500. And so being 500 per coin, that $500 investment in 2019 now stands at 1,350,000. Now you tell Mr. Abundance, in any country that you now reside, what business could you have invested 500 US and in 2 years later see an appreciation of 1,350,000? And this could be more, because we could push this to 1,000 a TACC instead of 500. And so had we done that, push it to 1,000, you'll be looking at 1.7, not 1.7, you're talking about 2.7 million in a matter of 2 years. 2023, we're saying with our infrastructure that we have, our media arm that we have, being meaningful, we should be able to push this coin to 5,500 With 500 invested in 2019, you're looking at an investment of over 24 million. And in 2025, we should be able to push this coin to 9,000 TACC. And so I want you to calculate for me, TACC at 9,000, what is your worth? And if you had that type of money, how will your children look at you? I said, how will your mother, your husband, your wife, how will your family look at you? How will the community look at you? With over 40 million US dollars under your belt, with an investment of $500, how will you be viewed? Go to the end and live in that moment. That is what Paul says. Call those things forth as though they were. And so you don't wait until you see it to believe it. The script says, anything that you ask and believe and doubt not. In other words, anything you ask and you live in the moment as if it has already done, it has to come to pass. That is imagination, which creates reality. And so TACC is a finished case. TACC is a finished case. And so now we have countries and financial institutions, because what I'm saying, I know what I'm saying, because you have countries that are presently creating the environment for that to happen. And so, Mr. Abundance, where are those countries? And what are they doing? So let's look at Australia. And I'm going to share my screen again, because I don't just want to say it, I want to show you. And this is what Warren Buffett says. Investment in self yields the highest results. And so when you should have gone out on the streets and you present TACC to anyone and they begin to babble and talk out of their depth, you need to rescue them. But you cannot rescue them without information. And so, Mr. Abundance, show me a path. Support your thesis. You have countries like Australia. Australian court accept cryptocurrency exchange account as security for legal costs. Let's go to JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan Chase Bank takes on Coinbase and Gemini as its first crypto exchange customers. People, I want you to wake up. 3 years ago, the president of JP Morgan Chase, Damien, was calling Bitcoin a fraud. This is what they do to poor people, and that is what you will hear on the streets. The poor people will tell you to run from it because it is fake, it is scam, it's the mark of the beast. That is why I showed you Eric Finman, a dropout at the age of 15 without a high school diploma. Does he look like the mark of the beast to you? Its CEO once called Bitcoin a fraud. But now, the US banking giant JP Morgan Chase has decided its first cryptocurrency exchange customer. Do you understand what is a crypto exchange? A crypto exchange is what coins like TACC Coins will be on. A crypto exchange is what we intend to buy and own. TACC intend to own its own exchange. And so we will be able to connect with banks around the world, because that is what exchanges are there for. South Korea is actually doing it. And so we will be able to interface with banks so that you can interface and exchange your coins into the fiat currency. That is what we're talking about. That is why JP Morgan Chase had to form alliance with crypto exchange customers such as Coinbase. So while you are showing up to work in a corner office, working for your pension, of which at the end, some of you will die before you get it, you have an opportunity in the fourth industrial revolution and you're playing the fool, spinning around. Let's hear what Fidelity investment firm manages over 2.7 trillion in asset, and they have already surveyed that 1/3 of institutions have invested in cryptocurrency, and this report was in 2018-19. 1/3 of institutional investors. You're talking about people with money. You have the same opportunity and you are running. You have Germany. Bitcoin is financial instrument, clarifies Germany. And then it says here that Germany now considers service providers who offer the exchange of virtual currency for legal tender and vice versa, or for other digital assets, to be financial service institutions. Cryptocurrencies, depending on their design, are generally regarded as financial instruments. The exchange of cryptos fall into the category of regulated banking and other financial services transaction. And you are going to leave from all this wealth of information and listen to novices, because that's what they are. They don't know what is taking place. They don't know what is taking place. France court says Bitcoin is money. Please do your research. South Korea is officially recognizing cryptocurrency exchanges as regulated banks. This is what I said when I mentioned that TACC having its own exchange is a bridge between you and the banks, the fiat currency that we now have. that will allow you to access. And so we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. So you are ahead. For many years, the government of South Korea has considered regulating the cryptocurrency sector with practical regulations and policies. I don't have time. In India, the Supreme Court of India has ruled against a decision imposed by the court central bank nearly 2 years ago that stifled crypto trading in Asia's third largest economy. And the Supreme Court of India struck down this ban that the central bank put in place. Does that sound familiar? No banks like cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is the #1 enemy for banks. The thieves, that's what they are. And so now the court ruled that what the bank did is unconstitutional. And ruled against the central bank. Let's go to the United States. Wyoming Senate passes bill recognizing cryptocurrency as money. What more can Mr. Abundance tell you? What more convincing do you want? Is the script that says, a word is sufficient for the wise, but it will take 1,000 to convince a fool. Now, if anyone had taken the time in 2010 with Mr. Abundance and said to Mr. Abundance, this is where the future currency is going. I said, if someone had taken the time out, like I am now doing for you, bringing you evidence, I am not just talking, I am talking with facts that you yourself can go on the internet, look up Wyoming Senate, pass his bill, do your research for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I said, if someone had told Mr. Abundance, here is what is happening. And here are the evidence. A matter of fact, they wouldn't even have to show me any evidence. Because I am one of those that understood everything without you telling me one word. I could just look at your demeanor and I could read every word that you're saying with your mouth shut. So they wouldn't have to convince me. And not only would I put 1,000 like Eric Finman, I will say to you, I would have put 40,000. Because at that time I had it like that. I had it. You have an opportunity now. We all have an opportunity now. Since we are still ahead of the curve. Listen what Louisiana State Congress unanimously passed crypto business licensing bill. We're talking about Wyoming, the United States. We're talking about Louisiana because we seem like we have to wait for the United States to do something to call it real. And then for those of you in Antigua crypto regulation bill passes the lower parliament. It says here, Antigua and Barbuda take steps towards becoming a crypto-friendly destination in the Caribbean region. A crypto-friendly destination. You have the Abundance Community Coin, a coin that was created in broad daylight in a progressive community that came from all walks of life, that pooled their resources behind our vision, prepaid for their coins, that gave TACC birth today. A coin that is progressive in its nature, with leadership, accountability, momentum, leadership structure. And so I ask you the question, what more evidence do you want? Apart from what I said, because all the above are tangible evidence that will give TACC the environment to achieve an appreciated value by 2025, very conservative, may I add, at 9,000. Ask yourself the question at that time, how many coins will you have? And so, in addition to what I would have said, look at TACC leadership structure, because you can speak, because it is very cheap. But look at the structure. Look at the leadership team we have in Nigeria. At the national level, we have our national coordinators and assistants. At the regional level, we have our regional coordinators. At the state, we have our state coordinators. At local government areas, we also have our local government coordinators pushing TACC at all levels, building a grassroots operation. That is why we can say and claim that we can look towards an appreciation. We are not looking at any coin on the market except for Bitcoin appreciation of what a non-entity can become, because that is what Bitcoin is, a non-entity without management, without structure. And so we cannot look at any other coin on CoinMarketCap and make a comparison, because they are not our equal. They are not our equal. They don't have our social program. Afro-Caribbean International Musical and Trade, Culture and Trade, they don't have that. Afro-Caribbean Cup of Nation, TACC Rollback Malaria Program, they don't have those social programs. All of these social programs is to partner with governments around the world, NGOs around the world. They don't have radio and television station. They don't have our mission to settle the Afro-Caribbean debt. All these are pluses for TACC. That is why I said, except we fail TACC, TACC cannot fail. And so, we have all reason. Hello, Mr. Abundance. Uh-oh, did I miss something? I sure bet. Whoa. I sure bet missed something. Okay, all right. Philosophy, okay, good. Okay, question and answer. All right. So I'm now going to run through because I have to give everybody a fair chance. But I hope that the picture is very clear. I said yesterday, if the 2.5 million US dollar that we are now raising was on your shoulder to raise, would we be able to count on you? That's the question. If you had it to raise, what would you have done? And yesterday I said, for you to able to do it, you have to be meaningful. You have to become a person of value. You have to feed yourself with information, because even though we have momentum intact, momentum deflates without information. Currently, there is no social media platform for Tiashans to communicate with each other, really. 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 We have no media, social media platform. Is WhatsApp one of them? Is Telegram one of them? Is Facebook a social media? Is Twitter a social media? Is Instagram a social media? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, please. Mr. Abundance always like to learn. So please help me out. What do you mean? Because I may be missing something. So help me out, my dear brother. Mr. Abundance, good evening. Yes, good evening, Kimber, John. And please, I said, from next week, and you're greeting Mr. Abundance, please put your country. Good evening, Mr. Abundance, my boss, Stephen from Ghana. Thank you very much, Stephen. At least you're a good student. Stephen, you're leading the path. You are a good student. Greetings, Mr. Abundance. This is Njinja Rini from Dubai. I am happy to follow up with this evening. God bless you for this opportunity. Mr. King from Dubai, you're welcome. TACC is going uphill. Going uphill will create wealth that neither men nor angels could have imagined. But we have to remain steadfast to that which we have committed to do, to change our lives, that of our children and our unborn, and to get rid of Chinese out of our country. Because I think it is enough to have been wearing the title of a global slave that I can identify with. But to be putting a second title of a global fool, that one I find repugnant. That one I cannot take. A global fool. I will settle for a global slave because I inherited that title at birth. But a global fool I cannot accept. And so we thank you. Joel Carr from Antigua 268. That's right. Blessing to the house of Tiashans. Uphill we go. Mr. Ariel Greatness, our director. Thanks, Mr. Bonner, for taking the responsibility of the vision of TACC. Ariel Greatness is right behind you. Thank you very much, director. We're going uphill. We have momentum. Good evening, Mr. Abundance from Nigeria. Simon, good evening. Thank you very much. Wealthgate. Ephraim Ray from Nigeria. Happy to connect with you and the other TH. And thank you very much. At least there are students in the house. There are good students in the house. Good evening, Mr. Abundance and TACC family. We are right behind you from the UK. Fred Rampton from the UK. Thank you very much. Europe is in the house. I wonder if Prosperous Prince is in the house. He has a story, and this is a serious matter. Prosperous Prince had equal opportunity to be an Eric Finman today, going around as a global ambassador for TACC, showing the world what cryptocurrency can do if you become meaningful. I said Prosperous Prince, our UK National Executive Coordinator, had equal opportunity to be a multi-billionaire today in this space. But he was running after a few cents. The elite system that go to school, get a good education, come work for me, says the government, and I will pension you 40 years later, of which some have worked, retired, and are still waiting for their pension 5 years later. And because Prince was conditioned by the system, a businessman, you know, Prince is not an ordinary man, a businessman with real estate property. So you would have thought that a businessman with over 2-3 million in asset would have actually caught the vision. But no, he didn't. Because cryptocurrency, there was nothing familiar about it. And because it was not familiar, he could not comprehend how a coin at 10 cents will ever come to anything. That is the mistake that Prince made. And that is the mistake many of you are making today with a coin now at 50 cents. I said to you, your children's children shall listen to these audios and videos of Mr. Abundance, and they will not look at you favorably at all, because what you're going to have are educated PhDs and master students working for the Finmans of tomorrow. Dunce, I said dunce, who made common sense investment, will be hiring your children just like Eric Finman. At the age of 15, he has already hired 15 instructors to teach online classes. I said at the age of 15, a dropout of school hired 20 of his teachers, and I know that they all have a master's degree. That is the new norm in this fourth industrial revolution. Is no longer how bright you are and how much degree you cannot eat it. Is the one who has the money. You will work for them. You will keep their books, because you are smart for the books, but not in common sense business. And so we move on. Kimber John, TACC is going uphill. John from Cameroon. Oh, Kimber, you're from Cameroon. TACC is the way forward for the future billionaires and trillionaires. Thank you very much, Kimber John. God's will. Greetings to you, Mr. Abundance, and the global community of TACC. TACC has become a global individual bank, family bank, institutional bank, and government bank for crypto. You know, Madam Joy, let me see, did I put that? Let me see if I know we're talking about bank. Did I? Let me see. I don't know if I put that down. No, I doubt it. But she did. But I'm going to. Where's my phone? Where is my phone? I am going to put it up before we close today. I must do it. She talks about she talks about TACC being the bank. I must show the picture because it is so interesting. Madam Joyce, well, you are stressing. You are really stretching our imagination as to what TACC can become, and so she. Oh Lord. Okay, yeah, this is the bank here, TACC International Bank, and so I have to send it to the house. I cannot finish this now that you brought it up. Our regional executive director for West Central Africa, Bishop Godswill, and this is why we can say that we can look forward to see TACC at 9,000 because we have the structure in place. We have the leadership in place to make it happen. And so as I look for the photo, you know, my computer is actually top heavy with information. As I look for, I have to do it all. We want to thank Madam Joy for inspiring us over and over again. I know yesterday she also did one with a billboard. I like that one actually. So TACC is going uphill. We are going uphill. We are going uphill with momentum. And so you are now asked, and I kept saying, that leadership leadership is not a position. Leadership is not a position, but influence is what you want to be able to do, to influence people. And so I am calling upon our leaders. And when I say leaders, because everyone in the TACC community is a leader. I have no followers. And so you are now asked to mobilize your community. You have your community. You don't have to have a title to lead. Leadership is influence, is not a title, is not a position. It is influence. Who are you influencing? And so as I go back to God's will, this is the bank here that and let me share my screen now. This is the bank that Madam Joyce sent us yesterday. He said, Mr. Abundance, this is TACC Bank. And so here you have TACC International Crypto Bank. Go to the end. Go to the end. Have the mind of the creator because you are the creator. Do not look outside yourself for another. You are the creator. And this is too deep for some of you to understand. When they picked up the stone to stone him, Lord, Mr. Abundance, where are you going into this? No, this is too deep. Oh, get out of that lane, Mr. Abundance. Get out of that lane. So, TACC International Bank, let us call those things forth as though they were. Let us live as if it is already done. That's what it says, to believe. And so imagine you walking in to TACC International Crypto Bank. On one side, you have the tellers, you have the customer service officers and managers. You have in one lane customers from around the world. On the other lane, you see founding members and Tiacians / millionaires and billionaires. But that is what you will become. You have a special lane. And you're going into the bank, and the ladies, their bags mark TACC brand, TACC bag, TACC perfume, TACC lip gloss, TACC shoes, the abundant shoes. Imagine walking into the bank. Huh. And so, we want to thank you, Madam Joy, as we visualize what we will become. All right, I think I did something to this. Those screen look a little bit low. Anyhow, and so we have greetings to the house. I'm wondering, sir, if all cryptocurrency are volatile in nature, whether TACC will also fluctuate in value. It will have some fluctuation, of course, because it will be supply and demand. And that is why we have to be meaningful, and that is why we need to have a global strategy to keep it going one direction and one direction only. That is why it is important that leaders become meaningful specifics. That is why our radio and television will be there to disseminate information as to the strategy and the marketing plan that we must follow. This is not a hit and miss. This is not a hit and miss. And so everything is put in place to raise this coin to 100,000 in a couple of years. For some reason, my screen got a bit, like it's shrinking size, something like that. It's not the same when I started out. You know, I'm not seeing the words as I don't know what I did. What did I do? And I noticed when I came back, it actually did that. But to be honest with you, I don't know what I've done. But I hope you can. I hope you're still seeing my screen good. But from my looking at it, it looked very smaller to me. I appreciate you for your insight. Thank you very much. Very much smaller to me. It's not as big. So what did I do? Let me see. Probably is not. To be honest, I don't know what I've done. Anyhow, thank you, our amiable CEO, Mr. Abundance, and thanks to all who have caught the vision. Thank you very much, Joshua. Gabriel, good evening, Mr. Abundance, and the entire community of Tiacians. Yes, good evening. Good evening, Tiacians. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Abundance. Thank you very much. I'm new listening. Thank you very much, Che. Amos. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, Mr. Abundance. Great House of Tiacians are on the right path. Thank you very much. Greetings to all the Tiacians in the house. Yes, greeting. Welcome, Amos Che. Okay, that's our global ambassador welcoming. Diana McDonald in the house. Thank you very much, our leader there in Antigua. You're doing an excellent job. Good evening, Mr. Abundance. Great Tiacian. There is a voice crying in the wilderness again these days. Does it not show the world that something great is on the way? Amen. Amen, John. And we have Lady Michelle. Michelle, you made it. Good evening. Good afternoon, everyone. Michelle just logged in. Thank you very much, Michelle. Hi. Okay. Hi. The days of Noah and the ark are around the corner. Come again, you will make it into the ark. That's right. That is so true. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Yes, good evening, Mr. McRobert. Good evening, Nosofo Krebe, our regional director there, responsible for Southern Africa. Good evening, Mr. Abundance and the global community of Tiashans. TACC is our financial freedom to generational abundance. Good evening from Papua New Guinea. Yes, good evening. Good, Madam Bahamas, Lady Bahamas, Cynthia Brown. Good afternoon to everyone. What an exciting time to be alive and to be a part of this awesome journey. Thank you very much, Madam Cynthia. Good evening, Mr. Abundance and all the tasks in the house. The house is on fire. I feel fired up. It is time for all or nothing. Up the hill we are heading. Good afternoon, my leader, Gio Masola. Good evening, Mr. Abundance and the Tiashan. Yes, Joyce, good evening. Good evening, fellow Tiashan. It's my pleasure to be on an awesome platform. Thank you very much. We welcome each and every one of you as each and every one of you play your part. Good evening to everyone. Good evening, Mr. Abundance and the entire house. Mr. Blessing, good evening. I am still asking myself, how did I miss out on Bitcoin in for 2009? I'm not missing TACC. I don't know how I missed it myself, because normally when things like that is happening, somebody would have said something to Mr. Abundance. But again, I had a business that was doing very well. And so sometimes, people think, well, because you have a business doing well, you will not be sidetracked. But I mean, had they just hold my hand and say, especially someone of caliber, someone that I respected, if they had said, Mr. Abundance, oh, take a pause. Trust me, I would have taken a pause. I am still asking myself, how did I miss? Well, actually, you missed it. But you have people like Prosperous Prince that was introduced to it. And you have even my executive national coordinator in Antigua. He said his mother talked him out of it. He was going to invest, and his mother said, no, don't. Is that familiar to a lot of us? He could have been an Eric Finman today going around the world with millions and billions. His own mother talked him out of it. And a lot of our friends, if it were possible, I said, if it were possible, our relatives and friends would talk us out of TACC. I said, if it were possible. Greetings to the entire community of Tiashan. Yes, good evening. Greetings. Good evening, everyone in the house. Special greetings to honorable leader, Mr. Abundance, as well as will going uphill will never come down. Akpan, I think that's Nigeria. Good evening, Mr. Abundance and the Tiashans around the globe. 5 TACC will be far more equal value to my pension in 2023. Oh, dear me. Hello, Mr. Abundance. Well done. You're doing a great job to wake us up. And many wisdom is required critical thinking. Thank you very much. Oh, no more, please. No more, please. We're going over time. I know today we would have gone over time because it's really a lot of information. It's really a lot of information. Good evening, good evening, everyone, all the way from South Africa. Yes, where? All the way from South Africa. We want to thank you. Going uphill, indeed, Mr. Abundance. Yes, Antigua. I am from Ghana. Thank you very much. Oh, Ghana is in the house. Hello, Mr. Abundance. For me, I think talk, bath, and sleep in crypto and expecting my financial deliverance intact from Ghana. I now think talk, bath, and sleep in crypto and expecting my financial deliverance. Have mercy. Good evening, Mr. Abundance. Yes, good evening, Mr. N4. Greetings, Mr. Abundance and the House of Greatness. TACC is no rival structure. Leadership, transparency, and integrity. Thank you very much. Here is Prince talking about what could have happened to this young man who hosted me while I was in the UK. Prosperous Prince is not prosperous, called prosperous for nothing. I said he hosted me well, but he had an opportunity. Whereas he have millions in asset, as I am speaking to you today, he could have had billions in asset and probably liquid asset now, had he taken hold. But he says to me, Mr. Abundance, last Sunday, as I watched the countdown, he says, I was in tears. And why was Prosperous Prince in tears? Not in remorse of not having taken up Bitcoin. He is in tears, knowing that this time around, he has done the right thing. That is why he's in tears, because he saw Bitcoin when it was at 10 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents. Prince saw Bitcoin and was encouraged to invest. But he was running after the crumbs while leaving the bread on the table. And that is what is going to happen to a lot of us today. Mr. Goodman, good day, sir. Blessings to you and the others. Thank you very much. Yes, Prosperous Prince. As to the special project on television and radio, how far have we gone? Well, matter of fact, I just spoke to the developers and they had a little delay. So they told me in the next 3 weeks, we should begin to do live testing. So that is how it happens sometime. We had delays in the coin as well. The coin should have been at the end of January. We got the coin, I think, near to the end of February, going into March. So things do happen. And these are technical things, you know. But at least we will get it. One TACC, one child, one youth, one TACC. Going uphill. Thank you, Mr. Abundance, for this great evening presentation. Alert to read the Theacians. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Abundance, you can't build a sustainable business on volatile currency. You need to be able. Is he continuing? No. Okay, this person is saying, Mr. Abundance, you cannot build a sustainable business on a volatile currency. What do we have today on the stock market? Is it controlled by anyone? Manipulation, yes, may take place sometimes. Did I not told the audience, I think it was yesterday, that during the pandemic, the 1% in America saw their wealth appreciate to over 565 billion. And you are now telling me that you cannot build a sustainable business. Did you not watch Eric Finman? Did I not show you Eric Finman that invested $1,000 in Bitcoin 9 years ago? Is he not a multi-millionaire? And when you become Do you not have enough common sense to diversify your portfolio? Are you going to hold cryptocurrency only? I'm asking you the question, my brothers and sisters. Why don't we think critically? Why do we always have somebody thinking for us? That is our problem, a conditioned mindset. And because we are going to be meaningful, I am saying to you, we can. We can. Greetings to the entire community of TACC. TACC is not only for African countries now working around on the planet. No, I mean, this is a global initiative. This is a global initiative. Control and speculate, sell, etc. TACC is going uphill. Good evening, Mr. Abundance Tiashin in the house. TACC is a smoking fire from Nigeria. Okay, and so finally, Mr. Bonnet, I said that TACC doesn't have a social platform. The official Telegram page on the TACC website doesn't exist any longer. During the last broadcast, I reported. Well, you say it doesn't exist, but it does exist. Maybe we're having some issues there because the link has changed, actually. We have revoked that link. So it's for us probably to put a new link there. But, I mean, the Telegram is only one. Are you on our Facebook? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter? We have other social programs now, and so I mean, Telegram is only one. And if you cannot get in, I mean, get the link from the group. Are you not in the group? If you're not in the group, text me, WhatsApp me. I'll put you in the group. That's all. You should not be crying. Find solution. That's what we're here for. That is why we are where we are. We look at problems, but we fail to come up with solutions. In today's world, business people are hiring people who can solve problems, not those who see problems. I can show you 1,000,000 problems in TACC. But when I show you the 1,000,000 problem, I should equally show you 1,000,001 solutions. And so that is what is going to make the difference between those who have and those who do not. Critical thinking. What is the problem? Once you have identified the problem and the challenge, then you said, what is the solution? That's it. Every problem has a solution. And so I say to you, my dear brother, be a problem solver. That is what TACC is looking for. Problem solver. Problem solvers. And so I want to thank everybody. We've gone over 18 minutes today, but it is really heavy stuff. And so I want to thank all of you for joining Mr. Abundance. TACC, we're going uphill. Take control of your community. Don't wait to have a title, because as I said before, leadership is not a position. Leadership is influence. And we have persons that are more influential without title in TACC. And so lead in your community, duplicate yourself, share the vision, take ownership of what we're doing. Take ownership of what we're doing, because continue wondering and eventually wonder after everything and nothing will not get us anywhere. And so I say to you, from the beautiful island of the seas, this is Mr. Abundance. Thank you very much for joining us. Be blessed. Invest in your future. Now it is cheap.